This extraordinary tale, set along the shores of Sri Lanka, remains a heart-wrenching memory for anyone who hears it. Naval officers were returning to the mainland after completing a routine patrol when one of them spotted a large gray shape in the water. At first he mistook it for a rock, but as he looked closer he realized it was a living creature, struggling to stay afloat. Alarmed, he alerted his fellow officers, and with binoculars they tried to make out what it was. Their jaws dropped in astonishment. In the middle of the ocean, battling the waves, was a young elephant. How had it ended up here? A flood of questions filled their minds, but first and foremost, they knew they had to rescue it. On board, the crew could sense the animal's fear and helplessness. Though they had no experience rescuing wildlife, the officers were determined to help. They knew they faced a daunting challenge. How would they rescue an animal so large and heavy from the water? But the crew didn't give up. They knew they had to devise a plan quickly to save the desperate animal. Without any specialized equipment for such an unusual task, they had to rely on their creativity. Acting swiftly, a few crew members boarded a small boat and approached the young elephant. At this critical moment, they were confronting not only the forces of nature, but also their own fears. They couldn't help but wonder how the elephant had ended up in such a predicament, drifting alone in the middle of the ocean. They would uncover the answers later. For now, their priority was to rescue the poor animal. Carefully maintaining their distance, the officers approached, knowing they couldn't risk stressing the elephant any further, especially as it struggled, exhausted, to keep its head above water. Each officer advanced with courage and determination, hoping to save this majestic creature's life. Now, however, the crew faced a new obstacle. The elephant, whom they had affectionately named Jumbo, was too massive to bring on board safely. Even if they managed to get Jumbo on the boat, his weight could easily capsize it. The officers thought quickly and decided to tie a rope around Jumbo's head to tow him back to shore. It was a risky plan, but they had no other choice. They moved swiftly to put it into action. No one could predict what would happen in the next few minutes. One officer reached out a hand to gain the elephant's trust, while others donned diving suits, preparing to get close to him. Moving slowly and carefully to avoid scaring Jumbo, they swam toward him, hearts racing with the gravity of the task at hand. As they began moving, the elephant suddenly let out an ear-splitting cry. Despite their efforts to calm him, Jumbo's cries grew louder with each step. It was clear something was very wrong. Confused, the crew tried to figure out what was causing his distress. Then they noticed a red tinge spreading in the water around Jumbo. Realizing he was injured, panic set in among the officers. They knew the scent of blood could attract sharks, turning an already dire situation even more dangerous. They were faced with a tough choice. They couldn't abandon Jumbo, yet confronting sharks was a terrifying prospect. The situation seemed hopeless, with every passing second making the decision harder. Yet despite the risks, the brave divers plunged into the water to examine Jumbo's wounds closely. As they approached carefully, they discovered a large fishing trap wrapped around his leg. The trap's barbs were embedded deep in his skin, causing immense pain and explaining his desperate cries. This horrifying sight underscored Jumbo's suffering and the urgency of the rescue. The divers knew they had to act fast, mindful of the elephant's potential reaction in pain and cautious of his powerful kicks. However, to their surprise, Jumbo remained astonishingly calm as they carefully worked to free him from the trap. His calmness made their job a little easier, allowing them to earn his trust and get even closer. Step by step, they began untangling the trap with meticulous care. A few minutes later, they removed the final barb from Jumbo's leg, but this wasn't the end of the story. The rescue team returned to the boat and started the challenging journey back to shore. Despite their efforts, Jumbo's strength was clearly fading. Each meter was a struggle, and he seemed on the verge of collapse. Yet the crew, undeterred by the obstacles, gave their all to bring him safely to land. At last they reached the shore. Jumbo was too weak even to celebrate his rescue. Trembling on his legs, his eyes reflected both gratitude and exhaustion. Suddenly he collapsed, shocking everyone around. Realizing he needed urgent medical attention, the crew immediately contacted the nearest veterinary clinic, conveying the urgency of the situation and calling for help. Soon a team of veterinarians arrived, recognizing the elephant's critical condition. Though his chances looked slim, they did everything possible to help. They transported him to a nearby shelter and began treating him. Beyond administering essential medications, they showered him with care and affection. Sometimes love and compassion work wonders beyond medicine. Under the dedicated care of the veterinary team, Jumbo grew stronger day by day, his wounds gradually healing. While his treatment continued, the compassionate naval officers set out to locate his herd, hoping to reunite Jumbo with his family. It seemed almost impossible, but the crew pressed on with determination. After thorough research and careful tracking, they finally found Jumbo's family. As they had suspected, the herd had crossed from Kakalai Lagoon, where Jumbo had been swept away by the sea, separating him from his family. As Jumbo showed signs of recovery, the townspeople began preparing to reunite him with his loved ones. Instead of letting him cross the lagoon alone, the officers decided to accompany Jumbo to ensure his safety. They guided him with great care across the shallow part of the lagoon. As he reached the other side, something unexpected happened. Jumbo turned around and let out a powerful trumpeting sound, as if to thank the officers who had saved his life. The sailors were deeply moved by Jumbo's expression of gratitude. His call had caught the attention of his herd, who soon emerged from the forest. Initially, the officers worried they might have brought Jumbo to the wrong herd, fearing the elephants would try to defend their territory. But the other elephants greeted him joyfully, rubbing against him in a gesture of love and reunion. Seeing this heartwarming welcome, the officers took a deep breath, relieved. They had found the right family. Everyone watching was moved to tears by the sight. The reunion with his family filled everyone's hearts with indescribable happiness and relief. The elephants embraced each other, and it was one of those rare, beautiful moments of unity between humans and animals. Watching the herd reunite, the officers felt a renewed appreciation for their efforts and sacrifice. Jumbo's reunion with his family highlighted both the power of nature and the compassion of humankind. This extraordinary rescue reminds us how fragile and precious wildlife is, and the importance of preserving these magnificent creatures. Elephants, like many other wild animals, face numerous threats due to human activities, from habitat loss to poaching. By protecting natural habitats and promoting conservation efforts, we not only save these animals, but also ensure the survival of the ecosystems they inhabit. It is crucial for humanity to take responsibility, raise awareness, and take collective action to safeguard the wild places that both animals and humans depend on for survival. Please don't forget to like the video, share it with your loved ones, and subscribe to the channel.